Okay, let's dive into one of the most common and honestly, one of the most frustrating cycles in relationships. You know the one I'm talking about, where one person just needs to vent and the other person immediately jumps in to try and fix it. Today, we're going to break down exactly why this happens and, way more importantly, how you can finally bridge that gap. So, picture this. This is the moment, right? It can completely derail an entire evening. She's sharing something she's struggling with, really just looking for a bit of connection. And what he hears is a problem that needs a solution. And just like that, they're on two totally different pages, headed straight for a collision. I mean, come on, does this sound familiar? I'm willing to bet this feels incredibly familiar to almost everyone listening. It's that moment of complete misunderstanding where both people actually have the best intentions, but you somehow end up feeling totally disconnected. But what if I told you the problem isn't what you think it is? And here's the big aha moment. This is not a battle of who's right versus who's wrong. It's not about one person being insensitive. It's a language barrier. Seriously, both people are often trying to show love and support. They're just using completely different dialects to do it. So, let's look at the first language. We'll call it rapport talk. Think of this as the language of a specialist trying to get a task done. It's direct, it's efficient, and it is all about analyzing the facts, getting to the point, and finding a solution. The whole goal is to fix the problem and move on. And then on the flip side, we have this second language, rapport talk. Now, this is the language of a relationship specialist. It's way less about solving the problem and so much more about exploring it together. The goal here is empathy, it's sharing feelings, and it's strengthening that bond through mutual understanding. And when you put these two, let's call them operating systems, side by side, wow, the difference is just so clear. Rapport talk is all about action and independence. Rapport talk is driven by connection and intimacy. So what's happening is one person is trying to solve the puzzle, while the other is just trying to share what it feels like to be stuck inside that puzzle. And neither approach is wrong. They just have completely different objectives. And please, make no mistake about this goes so much deeper than just a single awkward conversation. When these communication styles are constantly clashing and there's no translation happening, the long-term effects on a relationship can be really serious. See, over time, this constant miscommunication just eats away at emotional safety. One partner might stop opening up because they're afraid they'll just be fixed instead of being heard. This can lead to something researchers call emotional malnutrition, where the relationship actually stops providing the comfort and support it's supposed to. And of course, this can directly impact mental health, and it undermines the trust and intimacy that are really the bedrock of any strong partnership. This brings us to what the famous researcher John Gottman calls the magic ratio. What he found was that stable, happy couples have at least 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction during a conflict. Now think about it. Every time a bid for emotional connection, that's rapport talk, is met with an unwanted solution, that's rapport talk, it risks counting as a negative interaction. You could be racking them up without even meaning to, and putting that crucial ratio in serious jeopardy. Okay, so that's the problem. But what do we do about it? Well, the good news is there are some simple, super powerful tools you can start using right away to bridge this gap and have a better conversation, maybe even tonight. Here it is, a really practical 3-step toolkit. First, just ask. A simple question like, hey, are you looking for comfort right now, or do you want to brainstorm solutions? That alone can prevent the whole misunderstanding. Step 2, shift your focus. Stop listening for the facts and start listening for the feelings. And finally, step 3, validate that feeling. You don't even have to agree with it, but just saying something like, wow, I can totally see why you feel that way, shows your partner they've truly been heard. I absolutely love this quote because it is the perfect guide for this. You can still tackle problems together, absolutely, head on. But you go into the conversation knowing that you're on the same team. You're working together against the problem, you're not working against each other. And please remember this. This is not about asking the problem solver to stop solving problems or asking the feeler to stop feeling. The goal is not to change who you are at your core. It's about adding a skill. It's about becoming bilingual, learning to speak your partner's native language so you can finally, truly understand each other. You know, at the end of the day, the strongest and most resilient relationships aren't built on grand romantic gestures. They're forged every single day in these small, seemingly insignificant moments where one person just makes the effort to truly see and hear and understand the other. That is where the real connection lives. So, as we wrap this up, here's a little something to take with you. If you start thinking of yourself not just as a partner, but as a translator, what's one small thing you can do this week to better interpret your partner's language, or maybe to help them better understand yours?